Greetings, folks. It's your buddy Mike Messier, and yes, I just catching up on some back movies that I've seen recently. This will be a three-parter, Mike's Instant Movie Review. Now, I'll start with the movie I just saw tonight. I just saw ABBA, the movie. Now, if you're not familiar with ABBA, you've probably heard their music and just didn't know that that was them. If you're of a certain age, you may have no idea the phenomena that is ABBA. Um, Sorry, I can't remember their names. It's Bjorn and, you know, basically two couples, but they have a lot of backup musicians, guitarists. They have an orchestra. And this movie is kind of a nice hybrid. It's a concert movie of ABBA on I think about three different shows: Melbourne, Australia, a couple of other Adelaide, a couple of other shows, and then there's this storyline of this beat reporter, a radio reporter who's been assigned to get an interview with ABBA, and he can't get his press pass in order, and he keeps getting roughed up by security, and his job is basically on the line. We've got some comments here. I wonder who that could be. Oh, my good buddy Javed or Havid. Joey Michael. Yeah, you guys always always like to tag someone who hates me. Hater, Javed. And I'm fucking up your name again. Sorry, Javi. I think you told me how to say it once the last time, but we haven't had an in-person conversation, although we're both Floridians. I did enjoy the swimming pool today. I did enjoy American hot dog place in Jacksonville. Was nice. A couple of chili cheese dogs. What else? So this movie, ABBA, is good. ABBA, the movie, is good. There's a storyline of the reporter trying to get the story. What I liked most about this movie, folks, is just going back in time to the 1970s. The movie takes place probably in 76 because it says the movie was, finished in 77. So this is like the 45-year anniversary of this film. I'm watching this movie and I'm just thinking that all the people that are so young and vibrant in this film are now like pushing 80 years old, and it's just sad how, like Rocky says, Father Time is undefeated. We're all going to hit that dirt nap someday. And, these people that are vibrant in their 30s or 20s or whatever in this film now are all senior citizens. And ain't that a shame, or ain't that a something? But, if you don't know ABBA's music, I mean, Dancing Queen, you've probably heard it. The song Mamma Mia is a big hit. And it's really it's kind of hard to explain ABBA music, why it's so good. But for me, I'm going to say that it's like the compositions, very tight pop songs, a clean, crisp sound to their music. Some might say it's a little overproduced. I think it's actually perfect for what it is. Although, like, if you're listening to something like Bruce Springsteen or The Who, you want it a little bit grittier. But listening to ABBA, I mean, this is like, pop music at its finest, disco, tech a little bit. I heard some songs that I'd never heard from ABBA before. I was trying to remember if I own any ABBA CDs. I don't think I do, so I might have to go purchase some. ABBA has always kind of reminded me of like a kinder, gentler Fleetwood Mac. Basically, like if you know the Fleetwood Mac story of the two couples and they're always bickering and feuding and writing horrible songs about each other. ABBA's like a nice Swedish clean version of Fleetwood Mac. You know what I mean? Like ABBA is the PG version of Fleetwood Mac behind the scenes. But I like this fucking movie. So there you go, folks. I think it said a fan event. I got to the movie 10 minutes late. I get in the theater. There's a pretty decent crowd, 12 or 14 people sitting there. And I'm 10 minutes late and there's no previews going on or anything. So I go find the kid, in these attendants, and I'd say, hey, is this movie playing or what? And he's like, and he goes, ask the other person, the girl that actually, scanned my ticket in. And she says that the movie's not starting till 8. So, that's fine. After the movie, I mean, but it's just one of those things where could she have mentioned this when I got in the theater? I've just kind of given up hope on society, folks. I mean, the incompetence is up and down the charts these days. So you get what you fucking get at this point. You know, so the movie was good. It was good. What's next? It's just a fun movie. I mean, the music really stands out. I did kind of like the storyline, though, of the reporter, because I kind of felt for this guy. I've been a reporter in my days gone by, and you're always hunting for that big story. And then there's a fantasy sequence of the reporter imagining that he's being accepted into ABBA. Like the two women are groping on him, and then he's invited to like a big dinner, like a formal dinner with ABBA. So I like the reporter guy. You know, he's your typical sycophant or hanger on trying to join the fun. What else? I don't know if Javed's still here. Javid, not sure if you're still here, buddy. I forgot. I know you're in Miami or somewhere in Florida. What else is going on here? We have the movie The Bad Guys. It's an animation film. I saw this in 3D. I actually liked it quite a bit. I mean, I didn't see Sonic 2. I typically stay away from these kids' movies, but this one, for whatever reason, maybe because of the passing of Razor Ramon, the bad guy, I wanted to see the Bad Guys movie. I got those 3D glasses, and I thought it was clever. You know, I thought it was good. I mean, definitely they set this thing up for a sequel, a series. You'll probably see the Bad Guys 2 in a couple of years, because the characters they came up with were pretty good. The idea is that these are it's like a snake and I don't know, like a muskrat or a wolf. There's like different animals that are kind of unpopular. I guess like 4 or 5 of them. A piranha is one of them, and they're bank robbers. So they're like the evil animals of the animal world, and then they're bank robbers on top of that. And I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was cute. So I mean, it was good. If you have kids, take them to see it. What else is going on? Oh, the Duke. So yeah, I wasn't having a good day a couple of days ago. Long story short, didn't have much sleep. Was very tired. So I went to go see this movie, The Duke. And honestly, it just became like nap fodder for me. It seemed like a fairly decent movie, but I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I tune out films if the accent is hard for me to understand. And this was like, BBC type of story. Basically, it's a good story though. This real life guy is fighting. I will get to your question, Juan. This real life guy is fighting the state of the British Broadcasting Corporation that levies a tax on everybody to watch television. And basically, the guy makes a point that, hey, I dismembered my TV, so I don't get the BBC. I only get this one other station. So if I'm not watching BBC programming, if I don't have the ability to watch it anymore because I've rigged this TV to not see it, well, why should I pay this stupid tax? So then it goes through this whole big thing. And then there's like a painting gets stolen, this painting of the Duke. And that's where I kind of got lost, to be honest. I mean, maybe I missed something, but it's like, what does the steal, like his son, okay, spoiler, steals the fucking painting on his behalf. But how does the stealing of the painting supposed to help with the situation with the BBC? I don't know if it was supposed to pay the lawyer's bills or whatnot. Anyway, I mean, I think the movie's really good. I just wasn't up for it. You know what I mean? I was just having a bad Mike Messier day. Juan Orozco, however, wants to know thoughts on MJF news. For those that don't know, we're in the pro wrestling portion of our show. That's fine. Thoughts on Maxwell J. Friedman news on leaning towards leaving. I think some of that, Juan, is, first of all, I think his contract goes to 2024, right? So I think some of it is just gamesmanship. I mean, same thing Aaron Rodgers did, same thing you could maybe say that Tom Brady or other sports athletes do, is they kind of put out these feelers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is the biggest example, but they put out these feelers that are not happy. They're weighing their options, and it's all about the Benjamins. It's all about making the other side of the contract negotiation wet their pants a little bit and fess up the big money. And here's the other thing, to be honest with you. If MJF goes to WWE in 2 years or a year and a half or whatever, yeah, he'll be missed. But I mean, there's another ass to fill your seat. I mean, AEW's got a stacked roster. WWE is always, making their McMeat puppet wrestlers more and more for you through the NXT Performance Center. So there's going to be a plethora of wrestlers, guys, coming. So, I mean, even if MJF leaves, it's really not the end of no big fucking deal. You know what I mean? It's if anything, it's actually good for AEW if some of their key guys, not all of them, but a few, like Cody, maybe like MJF, if some of these guys go over to WWE and do well, it gives AEW more credibility, street cred. Some new wrestling fan hypothetically might say, hey, where's this MJF guy from? Oh, he used to wrestle in AEW. What's AEW, etc. But you know what? On the flip side of that, Juan, if you remember about 5 or 6 years ago when EC3, who was so good in TNA, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling, when EC3 came over to WWE and they just destroyed him, like just fucking ruined him. I mean, that's why Mick Foley made his statement a few months ago or many months ago about the wrestlers can't trust the WWE. And it's true. I've been watching heels though, Juan. I don't know if you or Javid have I feel bad about saying his name wrong, but you have to pronounce it to me. We have to have a Skype or a Zoom, Javid. You have to be on the show or something for me to get your name right. I just, what can I say? But God, what the fuck was I talking about? Help me out here, Juan. What the fuck was I saying? Oh, the WWE MJF, if he goes, it's just like, okay, you got all these different talents, but where did they come from? They came from AEW. So that's good. Now, total nonstop action wrestling, AJ Styles, different guys like that. I guess they weren't in the position to kind of have those bragging rights. I was listening to the Jeff Jarrett podcast today. He's talking about, I think, No Surrender 2007, a pay-per-view from TNA Wrestling back then, and a pretty loaded pay-per-view from what he was describing. I don't think I've ever seen that one. But it's true. It's interesting. The TNA Wrestling, that's kind of like the great lost cause of pro wrestling. I've actually been watching this Blu-ray disc set, believe it or not, of the TNA the first year. So this guy that I know makes these kind of compilation DVDs, and it's the first year of Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. You've got Ken Shamrock, you've got Ron the Truth Killings as a heel, pretty interesting stuff. And the Duts, or what do they call the Ducks, the Dups, pretty horrible tag team. A young Goldilocks for all the Vince Russo fans. Goldilocks, probably 23, 24, looking pretty good in this show. What else? That's the Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. To be honest, guys, I'm gonna shoot with you straight. I haven't really been watching AEW or WWE on a consistent basis for about 3 weeks. I did watch the pay-per-view. I did watch Backlash, and I thought it was good. I mean, I thought the matches were good. That it wasn't a very long show. It was just a tight 3-hour show, and it was like I think just 6 or 7 matches. And I thought they did a nice job with it. There was a little heavy on the rematches. I think they had 4 or 5 rematches from WrestleMania, but I guess that's the point. It's WrestleMania Backlash. So I guess that's the new gimmick now, because this is 2 years they've called it that. 2 years in a row. WrestleMania Backlash. So you have your fucking 2-night WrestleMania, and then a month later you have your Backlash. I mean, they could just start calling WrestleMania back like, oh, this is the 3rd night of WrestleMania, and I don't know. Here's a thought. What if the WWE did a WrestleMania, 2-night WrestleMania in different cities? So you have like the first night in Philadelphia and maybe the second night in Charlotte, North Carolina, or whatever. You know what I mean? Or, I mean, they would never do Charlotte, North Carolina, because Vince hates the fact that he was born in North Carolina. He's a self-hating Southerner. So they could do Philly one night and New York the next, or Philly, then Boston. Just a thought. I don't know if they need the stadiums for that or whatever, but just a thought. You could have a 2-night, 2-city WrestleMania. I don't think that's been done. WrestleMania 2, we had a 3-city WrestleMania. Of course, it was all a ripoff of Starrcade. Well, folks, if you have any more thoughts or comments, feel free to throw them in. I thank you, gentlemen, Javid and Juan and everybody. Javi. I think he left and upset. He was upset that I screwed up his name, so he left in a fury. Joey Michael, wherever he is, how do you do? I mean, you know, these guys in that Facebook group, the Hameen Media group, some of them like me, some of them don't. You know, it's not my problem. You can't live your life for the expectations of others. You can only live your life for yourself. All right, folks. Good night. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. Of course, all the real Mike Messier people are so happy that my Fight or Play Basketball book is available on paperback and hardcover. Everyone's very excited. You can get your special copy on Amazon. Fight or Play Basketball, Mike Messier. It's the only book titled Fight or Play Basketball by me, so it should be easy enough to find. If you're a Kindle reader, you can read it on Kindle and save a tree. But if you want a real, you know, paperback or hardcover, that's fine too. Okay, folks. Good night.